We're in a different spot than usual because it's too bright outside and my usual spot is right by the window. But we're doing one of these again, just a discussion video. So, this is something I've had in my mind that I want to do for like a week. Today we're going to talk about what the upcoming clans, the upcoming remaining 7 clans, what their gifts might be. Because I feel like most of us have a pretty good grasp, but there are 2 clans in particular that a lot of people are assuming are one way that I think I'm almost 100% certain are a different way. So, to start off, the clans we have remaining are Genesis, Narukami, Nubitama, Bermuda Triangle, Great Nature, Link Joker, and Gear Chronicle. So, how I think these are going to break down is starting with Excel, which has 2 left. Excel clans, I believe, will be Narukami, and this is one of the big ones that diverge from what most people think, and Great Nature. Great Nature is obvious because like everyone is working under the same assumption that Bushwood is going to have at least one of each gift in each nation. The main reason I think Bushwood wants to do this is like beyond just like diversity within nations, is that if they decide to do nation sets again, they can very easily make sure that those sets still have at least one of each gift type, which is something that they clearly want to be doing. So by setting up the nations like this, then they allow that to happen. So Great Nature automatically becomes Excel because the other 2 in its nation are taken. Neo Nectar is Force, and Mega Colony is Protect. Great Nature being Excel makes enough sense because they don't want to give it Force, because they don't want their thresholds to be automatically reached. The thresholds will obviously be higher than 20,000 this time. And because Great Nature has had a multi-attack theme for quite a while, even more so than the other clans, like they got it from actual restand effects in G rather than superior call effects, like a lot of the clans that ended up getting their multi-attack stuff in G. And at least helps them reach the threshold somewhat without making it completely free for them to get there. Okay, moving on from there, we have Narukami. Narukami is not going to be Force. Let's get that out of the way. One of the biggest things that the gifts allow Bushroad to do is it allows them to differentiate clans that kind of bled together in the past. We can see that with Royals and Golds, which bled together in the past. Golds were literally created as a copy of Royals that did things slightly different, which ended up being a worse way of doing it most of the time. So they're going to make them Excel, and it makes sense with their playstyle. They're all about spamming the field for cheaper than normal. So having Excel circles for that to feed into makes a lot of sense for them, and differentiates them from Royals. Murakumo and Nubitama are obviously going to be different, and Murakumo is also a different gift type from Neo Nectar. Both of them have this cloning mechanic that has caused them to bleed together in the past, but now Murakumo is Excel and Neo Nectar is Force. We can also see it with Spikes and Golds. They kind of bleed together now because they both do top calling, but Spikes is Force, Golds is Excel. Like, do I need to go into this more? You can see this all over the place. And like the 2 that bled together the absolute most were Kagero and Narukami, because Narukami was just doing retire effects, but worse, less efficiently. So making them Excel, making them a more aggressive retire clan makes a whole lot of sense. In addition, Narukami has always, even if it doesn't come across all that well in their design, their aesthetics and the intent behind them has always been much more aggressive. You don't need to look any further than like the Season 3 Narukami bosses. With Descendants Restand and Gauntlet Busters, Crit Gain, and the Crit Gain on Armor Break, like all that kind of stuff. It's very obvious that that's what they want to do with the clan. And the character that is going to be using Narukami when it shows up is going to be Naoki. And Naoki has always been a more aggressively tilted player. So it just makes everything lines up for it to be Excel, and it being Protect would make no sense. That doesn't fit into Narukami's wheelhouse at all. I think we're definitely going to be getting a Protect Retire clan. I think that's going to be either Dark Regulars or it's going to be Link Joker, because with Link Joker, Delete works very differently in the manga than it does in the game and anime. From everything I've heard, I have not had the chance to read through the manga yet, but from everything I've heard, Vanish Delete in the manga gets rid of stuff on the field, so it would work similar to retiring. So it being protecting would make sense. And Dark Regulars in their original waves had a lot of retire effects, so making them a protect retire clan would make sense too. So it could really go to either of them. Okay, yeah, I think I've established well enough why Narukami is going to be Excel. Now, the thing people raise against this is, oh, they want to evenly divide United Sanctuary and Dragon Empire among the gifts, and I think that's a silly assumption to make. The reason why you'd want one of each of the gifts in each nation is for nation sets and things of that nature, so that there's at least one of each in these nations so that you can do these sets. Beyond that, I don't think Bushiroad cares, and they're not going to make something like Narukami into a Protect clan or a Force clan to make this work. That's just not going to happen. Like, for this to work, Narukami would have to be Force or Protect. The one type it cannot be is Excel, but Excel is the only one that really makes sense for Narukami, because it can't be Force, because then it bleeds back into Kagero, and that's the same issue they had with Narukami design before. And it can't be Protect because that doesn't make any sense for Narukami. It's never that's a gift that makes so little sense for Narukami, more than any gift assignment has. All of the gift assignments have made at least decent sense. Protect for Narukami just would not fit the clan at all. Yeah. It wouldn't fit Bushiroad's image for the clan, it wouldn't fit the image the anime pushes for the clan, and it wouldn't fit how the clan has been designed to play. So it's going to be Excel. I'm very certain it's going to be Excel. Come and yell at me in the comments below if I end up being wrong. By extension of that, I also think that Genesis is going to be Force. People again think that this is going to be Excel because that would give United Sanctuary 2-2 split among the gift types. But I think that's a silly assumption to make. It will be Force because Genesis is the definition of a clan that mixes between offensive and defensive. All you have to look at is like their Season 3 stuff. Like all their Season 3 support always has a split between those two. And Genesis is really an all-rounder clan that uses Soul for costs. So having them be Force makes the most sense. They've also always had similar aesthetics to Oracle Think Tank. And in G, they started crossing over with their mechanics by using Revelation, which was very similar to Scrying. So being Force would differentiate them from Protect, and Excel just doesn't make sense for the clan. They're not that kind of clan. Like, the cases of them doing multi-attack are limited to Regalia, which is not a strong enough case in my opinion, because Resanders were ever rare during the season that Regalia came out. And the other restand effects from early on were effects that were paired on draw effects as well. So it just doesn't add up. That doesn't justify it. And oh right, the other thing about Genesis being Force is we've had in Vanguard's history we've had 3 major clans that are focused on Soul: Pale Moon, Dark Regulars, and Genesis. So if Bushiroad wanted to really differentiate them, allow them to cross over into each other's mechanics without them bleeding together much, the best way to do that would be to make them each a different gift. And we have Pale Moon as Excel, Dark Regulars as Protect. So if we make Genesis Force, which already makes sense for them, then we get that. We separate all of the Soul clans, and they become a bit more unique. Yeah. Okay, moving on. The other 2 Force. Gear Chronicle and Bermuda Triangle. Gear Chronicle is just like a sort of Gear Chronicle, it's really hard to judge with Gear Chronicle, but I'm really putting Gear Chronicle here because I can't see it going anywhere else. And like the Protect clans are definitely going to be Nubatama and Link Joker. I think that's obvious to most people, but I'll go over that in a moment. Just making that assumption with Gear Chronicle here. And it's a combination of that and the Nation thing for Magellanica, since Protect is taken by Granblue and Excel is taken by Aquaforce. So on to Protect to justify why I'm putting Gear Chronicle in Force. Besides Gear Chronicle being a bit of an all-rounder clan itself, and Force making sense, especially if they ever do time leap shenanigans again. Yeah. So Protect. This should be pretty obvious. Link Joker is a heavy control clan, very slow deck, so Protect makes the absolute most sense for them. I don't think they'll be Lock anymore, and if they do keep, actually no, I do think that they'll still be Lock, but I think that Lock will be much more carefully costed, in that I don't think that they're going to allow Triangle Locks to go off very easily, but if they go that route, they would give them other advantage engines and stuff to make it so that the inability to Triangle Lock doesn't make them a completely flaccid deck. And like also the Vanished Elite stuff, they'll also do that. So like they'll still be a control clan because of how Vanished Elite works in the manga, as far as I'm aware. And then Nubatama. Nubatama is a hand control clan. It was never really a super aggressive deck. It was made that in G by Dominate, but like it was never really meant to be that. It was meant to be this hand control clan. And while that does lend into aggressive strategies by removing your opponent's guarding options, the core of that clan is still that hand control. So I believe that they will be Protect to support that, and I believe Bushwood will be able to properly balance around that this time. As for when these clans will be released, when we get into BTO3, that's the point where we're going to be done with the Season 1 section of the manga, and we'll be diving into what is the Season 3 equivalent, with the equivalent of the Link Joker arc, with everyone in high school and whatnot. I think BTO3 itself will feature Genesis, Narukami, Nubatama, and Gear Chronicle. I think Chrono or whoever else is used for the Gear Chronicle rep will be, if it's Chrono, he'll be aged up to Aichi Sage, I believe, and he'll be placed in Aichi's club at his school. That's what I'm assuming, and I think BTO3 is the time that'll make the most sense to introduce Gear Chronicle. Because Great Nature already has assigned players that they can pull on easily in this setting, so I don't see them being a part of that establishment. They would come in a bit later, so they'd be in an extra booster between the next two, between BTO3 and BTO4. Genesis and Narukami are obvious because Vanguard Club, this is when those clans were introduced with Misaki and Naoki. I could see Genesis switching to the clan that Misaki's school friend uses. I can't remember her name, but I could see that being the clan that she uses, and Misaki sticks with OTT. And for Nubatama, since Murakumo is now being used by Kaio, Nubatama would be given to Shingo instead of him using Murakumo. Yeah, that's pretty basic. Then my assumption is that in the EVs between BTO3 and BTO4, Great Nature will be introduced in a set alongside additional support for other clans. I'd all be surprised if there's an extra booster to focus on like Kamui's club or something. And then we would of course get Bermuda getting its own set, as everyone expects. That's just the way it goes. And then BTO4 is when Link Joker would be introduced. Because from everything I know about when Link Joker is introduced, BTO3 is too early, and I can't see them introducing Link Joker in a non-main set. So, yeah. Those are my predictions. Hope you had fun. If you have any predictions of your own, be sure to leave them in the comments below. This is Hunter Surge signing off.